Well, so far from what I'm seeing, this building seems to be a very good building to be considered a shelter. Just a few little retrofits need to be done to it to make it much more user-friendly as it pertains to fire safety and egress when it comes to evacuation of personnel or occupants within the building. That must be implemented. But other than that, it meets the criteria of a good shelter.
A shelter usually has to be a stronghold when you have like a hurricane passing by. Does this building certify to withstand any kind of hurricane?
I could say to this point, from what I'm seeing so far, yes. However, there are certain things that need to be done from the engineering aspect in terms of as it pertains to the roof, in terms of the structural integrity of the roof. We could say that all shelters are not 100% disaster proof, but in that sense of hurricanes, it should be able to deal with withstand for hurricanes. Yeah.
And you have other sites to inspect. How many sites are you going to be inspecting, and what is the idea of finally inspecting all these facilities?
Well, we're going to be visiting 2 more shelters. Another shelter to be a proposed shelter, and one, well, this existing, and 2 other proposed shelters. The whole thing out of this workshop is to get the awareness of persons who's going to be involved, the front runners in the whole disaster management field, to be aware in terms of assisting and also moving forward with the terminology and the experience of knowing exactly what would be considered a shelter and what they should be looking for when it comes to designating shelters.
As I asked Mr. Blue yesterday, we as Aruba, these islands, we are outside the hurricane belt. Is it really necessary for us to have that high level of shelter management and that high level of hurricane watch and that sort of things?
Yes, I think even though you're outside the hurricane belt, as you can see what happened with your experience with Ivan, you have to be prepared as it pertains to disasters. We're in an era right now where climate change is actually creeping up upon us, and you have to expect the inevitable, where there's a possibility where our next hurricane could come this way and not follow Ivan's path, but at least come a little closer to Aruba. So in cases like this, you must always be prepared for any disaster, may it be natural or man-made.
Besides having the specific groups, in this shelter management aspect, what would be your advice to the community watching this interview at the moment?
My advice would be is to take heed, prepare, educate yourself as it pertains to disasters and what to expect. We're all not prepared, but we have to be prepared at all times. Try your best to be prepared.